Alright, welcome back to Bodhran Basics. I'm Matt DeBlas, and today we're going to talk about one a little more creative and subjective things with Bodhran technique, what they call following the tune. Now, when you hear people talk about, playing Bodhran, what's a good Bodhran player, say, oh, they follow the tune. What does that mean? Because we've kind of, if you followed my other lessons, you've gone on, we've talked about playing different patterns like reels or jigs. But as you get into more specific tunes, you want to kind of vary your playing to mesh better with what's actually going on in that particular tune. So you play something a little bit different for every different tune that's played. So it won't just be the same pattern over and over for every single thing. Otherwise, you might as well just be, push button drum machine, and it's just not any fun for anybody. It'll work to support dancers and all that, but it doesn't really add much beyond just a steady beat. But what does it mean? And the tricky part is there's no right answer to how do you play to the tune. What do you play for a particular tune and how do you follow it along? There's a lot of different things, and the way that I do it is not the right way or the wrong way, it's just the way that I do it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to use a particular tune, and we're going to break down some of the choices that I might make, and hopefully these will help you think about ways that you want to arrange your playing for a particular tune. So the particular tune that we're going to work with, just for an example, is one of my favorite jigs. It's a fairly simple one called Out on the Ocean. And there are variations, different ways to play it, so I'll just play it the way that I do it and the way kind of the Delaware Valley Irish sessions tend to play it. And I'm going to use the GarageBand on my iPad. While I play it through, I'll record it, so that way later we can come back and kind of play along with it and see how it goes and what kind of ideas we come up with. We'll break it down now. So first, let's play it through once and record it. There we go. Now, unlike, say, rock music or something, Irish music is very much melody-driven, in that the melody kind of defines the rhythm to it. Like, there's not like a rhythm section, like a chunk, whereas the tune, the melody dictates the rhythm and the accents to it. And for this reason is one of the reasons I think it can be useful for Bodhran players or other accompaniment players to also play some melody. One of the best instruments for that, if you just want something to kind of pick up a little bit, is the penny whistle, because you can get them very cheap. And the basic technique is fairly simple, so you don't have to be a virtuoso, but you can kind of learn a few tunes to kind of get the feel of it from the melody side, and just learn to play a couple. Another thing you can do, and helps a lot when you're picking the tune, is to kind of sing them out, which is, what they call lilting. You'll hear that. It's kind of a vocalizations, non-linguistic vocalizations. There's words for it, but that's that diddle-dee-diddle-dee-day you'll hear sometimes. But learning to sing the tune out can kind of help you break it down and listen to the patterns of it, because you could just play or you can play, and it's kind of a subtle difference there, but you can kind of hear a little bit of a difference from just a steady. And for this one in particular, I'm using the down, up, in, down, up, tap jig playing style. Down, up, tap, down, up, tap. But let's look at that first, the A part. Doom da doo 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 doom doom da 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 doom. So to give it, there's that big kind of space. Boom ba ba da bum. Boom da 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 doom. So instead of just playing doom da 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 doom, I'm doom da 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 doom da doo 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 da doo 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 da doo 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 doom da 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 dum da 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 dum. So So you'll notice I'm following the accents in the melody. Doom, da, 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 doom. But I'm also adding in some other. Sometimes I'm just playing doom, da, 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 doom, da, 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 doom, da, 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 doom. Because if you, and here's where the taste and kind of artistic choice part comes in. If you either don't follow the melody accents at all and just play steady beats, or if you follow it too strictly, it can get kind of dull. So your choices being doom, da, 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 doom, da, 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 doom, da, 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 or doom, da, 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 doom, da, 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 doom, da, 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 doom, da, 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 doom, da, 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 doom. The second one actually sounds better, a little more interesting, but it also is basically just playing what the melody players are playing. So instead, I'll add some extra beats and some other stuff and some ornaments in there that aren't quite the melody. Like that. So like that, and just kind of follow the beat somewhat, but also add in more steady beats and stuff like that to kind of support it and capture those accents while not being just too slavishly locked into the beat, if that makes sense. And then for the B part, a very common thing in most A-B type Irish tunes, you've got two A's and two B's, if you listen to the melody. So you've got the doom, one through, boom, twice through, one through the B part, and twice through the B part. So it's an A-A-B-B progression. And that is fairly standard for most Irish traditional tunes. And a lot of times the B part will go up higher in pitch. So you go from doom, and that's a chance for you as the accompanist, to go up too and add a little bit. So going from doom, you can go. So you can kind of start pitch bending and using the higher end of your drum for that B part. And that way when you come back down, back to the A part, you kind of get really into that boom. So kind of, you know, A, bring it up for the B part, then boom, back down for the A part again. And that gives kind of a contour to the tune. And it gives it a little bit of a sense of where the tune starts over and where it repeats itself. So you it's hard to sing and play at the same time. Then go up. And then back down, if that makes sense. These are just some kinds of ideas that you can use. You could also play it completely differently. You could do, instead of the down, up, tap jig pattern, you can do down, down, up, down, up. And you can add triplets, either double or single ended in. Usually towards the end of phrases is one of the best places to put them, so you get like that, and then repeat again. So let's try playing it all the way through with the recording and see what kind of stuff I come up with when I'm not trying to sing along. All right, here we go. So there you go. There you go. A quick run through. So hopefully that gives you some ideas for how to play to the tune as opposed to just playing the same straight rhythmic patterns all the way through. And I think now that I've done one for a jig pattern, maybe next I'll try a popular reel. If there's types of tunes or particular tunes you'd like to hear me do this with so you can see how I might approach them, let me know in the comments. And I'd like to give a shout out to my patrons on Patreon who are helping me produce some of this Bodhran content and hopefully build up a bit of a fund that I can start bringing in maybe some melody players and do a little bit more advanced or better produced videos for you. Shout out to Selah, James O'Brien, Eli August, and Ben Doran. You can chip in a little bit if you want at my Patreon, which is patreon.com/MattDeBodhran. That's Matt, MattDeBodhran. If you've got $1 or $2 a month, great. If you don't, the content is still always free, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you, and you happy drumming.